What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Nguyen here. Today we are going to be creating a 3D face mask. So I'm going to be showing you how to design a 3D face mask in Tinkercad, and hopefully by watching this video you can get some tips and tricks from me and make your own face mask to basically save the world. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's get to it. So here I am in Tinkercad. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to measure my face. So again, millimeters is the small little lines, the smallest lines, not the one next to the number. The one next to the number that has a number on it is basically centimeter. Now 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters, so make sure that you're looking at the small line because we're dealing with millimeters in Tinkercad. So what I want to do is I want to get the width, which is basically from my mouth from here to here. So I'm going to try to measure that. So I think, let's see here, I'm measuring it like that. It's about 80 millimeters for me, and then we want to get the length, which is about from this part of your nose down to about your chin. I'm guessing that's about 90 millimeters. It looks like it. So I have it by 80 to 90. And the reason why I know that is because I need to tell kind of like the base of my face mask to see how big it is. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to get this paraboloid. And I'm going to click on this right here. And for the width, I said that it was 80 millimeter. So I'm going to type in 80, hit enter. That looks really weird right now, but that's okay. So this one I'm going to type in 90. Okay. So we know that it's going to be this big. So let's see here. Look up a little bit. Now the question is the height right here, is this big enough? Is this tall enough? Well, let's see. It's 20 millimeters right now. Look at my ruler. 20 millimeters is not very deep. So, I mean, my nose is like almost touching 20 millimeters. So that wouldn't be very comfortable. So what I need to do is I need to make this probably at least 30 millimeters. Type in 30. Whoops, not 300. It's way too big. Okay, 30 millimeters. Okay, so it looks like we have a pretty good base for our face mask right now. Now, if you notice at the bottom, it's not hollow. It's a solid area. We're going to cut it out later once we have all our pieces together. So keep that in mind, okay? All right. So right now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to add on the straps. Okay, so I'm going to move this aside. And so that way I can create the straps and then I'll move back. I'm sorry, the strap hanger holder thingy. Okay, so we're gonna grab a box and we're gonna make this pretty small. Say make it about, I don't know, let's say 10 millimeter, and then whoops. So if you happen to make a mistake, what I just did like that, I just hit Control Z or Command Z if you're on a Mac, or you can press this to undo. Okay, it's a quick way to just kind of undo something and basically make it so that you can continue doing the next thing that you need to do. So let's see, the height for this is about 20 millimeters. I think it looks all right. 20 is fine. And then we're going to click on this right here on the right hand side right here. We're going to adjust the radius. Now what the radius does is that it makes the edges, the corners of my shape kind of smooth looking. Do I really want that? Let's see. Maybe just a little tiny bit. Okay, like, I don't know, about 2. Just a little tiny bit. And then I'm going to poke a hole through here to make the hole. Okay, so again, I'm going to grab a cylinder, but this time it's going to be a transparent looking one. All right. Now we want to do the diameter. The diameter is basically from one edge of the circle to the other edge going through the center. All right. So I want my diameter to be pretty not big, like this. 20 millimeters is way too big. We want it to make it about, I would probably say 5 millimeter. I keep on saying milliliter. That's here's another 5 right here, and then we're gonna flip this around. We're gonna flip this sideways like this. Whoops. Let's see here. It won't let me do it, so I need to change perspective. It's all about your perspective, right? So if you guys notice that like when I move it, I'm turning it like this, and the numbers are getting bigger and smaller, and it's showing me all numbers. So if I hold down Shift, see how it snaps in these automatic, really straight angles, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, hold down Shift while I do that to get a turn it 90 degrees, and then I'm gonna move it in here. Let's check it out. It's a little bit low, so I'm gonna move this up just slightly. Now I don't want it to be too close to the edge because it wouldn't have anything to hang on to. So the vertical looks pretty good. So what I need to do is I need to align this to make sure that it's centered with the red box. So I'm going to use the alignment tool right here. So I'm going to click on this, hold down Shift, click on the second shape, and then I'm going to click on Align, and then I'm going to click on this black circle, and boom, there you go. It is perfectly aligned right now, sticking all the way through. Now I'm going to punch a hole in this by selecting both shapes. I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to group them together. Boom. There you have it. All right. So we're going to duplicate this 3 times. So click on it. Click on duplicate and repeat up here. Now it doesn't look like anything happened, but they're stacked on top of each other. So if you move them away, you have 4 different objects. All right. Pretty cool, right? All right, next up, we're going to move this on top here. Right there. Let's see here. Does that look good? Making sure that the holes poke through. I'm going to rotate this just a little bit right here by 20 degrees. Oh, we want to go in the opposite direction, which is going to be, we're going to undo this. Opposite direction, negative 20 to see what it looks like. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, the holes look pretty good. I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit. Okay, looking good. So we know that we're going to rotate it by 20 degrees. We can actually do this a little more. So let's see, I'm going to undo it so I know exactly the exact degrees that we can rotate it and still make it look good. I'm going to try 30 degrees. A little more slanted now. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to scoot this out like this. And that looks like it's sticking out and it's looking pretty good. A little bit too much to the front right here. So let's move this back to see what we come up with. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty good so far. And then I'm going to do this one. I'm going to rotate it the other way, 30 degrees. Whoops. So if it doesn't go in the direction that you want, you just put a negative in front of it or a minus. Okay, so I pretty much finished this and finished adding all the strap holders. And if I look at the bottom, it's sort of sticking out a little bit. This is totally fine because later on I'm going to cut everything and it's going to solve that problem. Okay, so let's move this back. We got our face mask right here. It's looking pretty good. Now we need to add like a hole in the center right here to basically add a filter. Okay. So I'm gonna make a cylinder shape hole. Yeah, I'm gonna move this back. I'm gonna add, this needs to be a little taller so it pokes all the way through. Okay, let's move this right here. And we wanna make this hole, I think 30 by 30 is a good size. Oh, it's pretty big looking, but that's fine. We'll get this to work. It's okay. Now we want to center this. So again, we're going to align it by clicking on the cylinder, and then we're going to click on the face, and then we're going to do align. And then again, we're going to click here. It's going to align it to that. And it won't align it in the middle. I wonder why. Let's try that again. Align. I think it's pretty centered. Okay, so let's cut this. Yeah, we're going to click on the face mask, the cylinder, and we're going to group it. Yay. All right, so there you have it. Now we're going to design a cap and connector for this hole right here to put our filter in. So we know that the diameter of this hole is 30 millimeters. So we're going to grab a cylinder. We're going to say this is going to be, let's make it slightly bigger so that way it doesn't fall all the way through. So we're going to make it 32 by 32. Boom. Okay. And then we're going to shrink this just a little bit. Instead of 20 millimeter for the thickness of this cap, we're going to make this about 2 millimeters. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. And then since we got that, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a tube to basically add a ring around this. Okay, we're going to scroll down right here, grab a tube. I'm going to change the tube color right here so you guys can differentiate. So again, we're going to put this in here and let's see. Do we want the tube to be, what's the size right here? 20 by 20. A little small. So we're going to click on this and let's do 27 by 27 to see how that looks like. And then the thickness, the wall thickness is right now is at 2.5 milliliter or a millimeter. Let's crank it down to only maybe, I don't know, 1 millimeter. See what that looks like. Okay, again, we're gonna align this, click, align the center, align in the center, boom. Okay, looking pretty good. Oh, it's a little tall, it's a little high right now. So I'm gonna shrink this, click on it. We're gonna make this about 5 millimeter. Whoops, let's try that again. 5 millimeter, enter. Boom, yes, that looks pretty decently good, okay? All right, so we're gonna basically, we'll duplicate this a little bit, but we need to punch a bunch of holes in the center right here so that way the filter could have some airflow, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a cylinder right here. We're gonna make it small, like 3 by 3 millimeter. Let's see how big that is. Okay, yeah, looking good. We're gonna move this in. We're gonna move this down. So that way it pokes all the way through. Because we're gonna cut it later on. And we're gonna duplicate. I'm gonna zoom in here. So that way I can have more of a close-up, we're going to move this. This is going to look like your salt and pepper shaker. Okay, that looks pretty good. We have everything's kind of poked through in the middle, but before we actually cut the holes in here, we're going to duplicate this because we need the other end of the cap connector series. So I'm going to make this red. So oops, I'm going to make this red so you guys can differentiate between the connector and the cap. So these are the same. So when we put them together like an Oreo cookie sandwich, these yellow rings, they're not going to fit with each other. So we want to make one of the rings smaller. Okay? So let's see here. We know 1 millimeter. So we're going to do, let's change this into, this is 27. So let's change it into 5 millimeter less, so 22. Let's see if that's going to work. Hit enter. And we're going to hit 22. Hit enter. Is this too small? Let's see. It's a little too small. So let's undo, undo, undo. And then we're going to do, let's see, 25 to see if that works. Whoops. 25, enter. 25, enter. Okay, let's move this over here. Is it going to fit? Okay, it looks like it's going to fit, but it looks like there's some stuff overlapping. So we're going to change it into 23. Whoops, 24. And then 24. Enter. Trial and error, guys. All right, so this one looks like it's going to fit pretty well. See, look at that. It fits perfectly. All right. So we're going to undo this so it moves back into space. And we're going to align the yellow ring and the red platform, okay? So click on that, hit align, and then, whoops, align, click center, and then we want to hit center, and boom, there we have it. Now the only issue is we have to adjust these holes right here. Let's take a look to make sure that it's not really touching anything. Well, it looks like these holes are just fine the way it is. So let's combine these by grouping it together, and it's going to basically cut the holes through. Boom, there you go. Pretty cool, right? I'm going to do it for the other one. Group it. Boom, there. We have our cap and connector. Yay! Making good progress, guys. All right, so let's get back to our face mask right now. The next thing that we need to do for our face mask is basically to cut out the bottom right here to make everything hollow down here, okay? But before we do that, you can add like a nose bridge right here if you really want. And the way to do that is just to basically get another paraboloid and take this, stretch it out, make it kind of long. You don't want it to be too big right here. You want to make this a little bit lower. Whoops. Like 10 millimeter. And then you want to stretch this out a little bit right here. What is this? It's 20. No, this is, what is the dimension for this? It's 20. Okay, yeah, it's not too bad. So what you want to do is you want to cut cut a piece right here. So well, I didn't do it. Try it again. We're gonna turn this into a hoe, and then we're gonna click on that, and then we're gonna basically group, and boom, there you go. You have a little spot, a little place for your nose bridge right there. Okay, that way it's a little more comfortable to wear. So let's cut the shape out and make it hollow. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to duplicate. Okay, duplicating makes it right on top of each other. So I'm going to move this down slightly. I want it to be about 3, moving it down 3 millimeters. It's going to be that thick, like that. And then I'm going to click on the one that is lower. I'm going to make it turn into a hoe. And then I'm going to select everything in here. And I'm just going to group it together. And voila, we have ourselves a face mask. There seems to be a little glitch. Let's check out what the glitch is. Seems to be not accepting this cutout of that right there. So that's not a hard fix. We're going to undo this. And let's see here. We're going to click on this and we're going to double click. We're going to ungroup it. So if you made a mistake and things aren't working out, you're going to ungroup what it is that you need to ungroup, and we're going to slice this afterwards. So I guess all the shapes are together right now, so we can click on this, move this a little down, work down, and then we're going to select everything, group. Please work. Does it work? No, it does not work. Okay, so ungroup. We might have to slice this later. Whoops. The center point later. So we're going to move this out. And then we're going to group everything together right now as it is. Okay, so I know that the problem is that like the shape that I duplicate of the face mask, it's not really doing it. So I'm going to undo, 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 undo. I'm going to get back to the point where before I told it to slice. Okay, here we are. We're at this point right now. So we can ungroup this shape right here and try to redo it. Ungroup. Ungroup. Okay, here we go. So we're not going to cut the shape yet. What we're going to do is we're going to do... So as you can see, everything is like hollow looking right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to copy this main face mask body right here. We're going to do control. We're going to do duplicate. And then we're going to move it down slightly by 4 millimeter. And then we're going to turn this into a hoe. And then we should be able to group everything together and it should cut. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Nope. Let's give it a try again. Let's see what the problem is. I'm going to try to move this to see what's going on. Seems like there's still a cut somewhere right here. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, there's actually two pieces. I wonder why. There actually, somehow I accidentally duplicated it 2 times. And one was on top of each other, so that's the reason why. Okay, here we go. I think I'm getting down to the bottom of this. Let's see here. Let's duplicate this first. Duplicate, and then we're going to move it down by about 4 millimeters, and then we're going to turn this into a hoe. And then we're going to slice it or group it together. All right, yeah, so it works right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this hoe right here. We're going to slice it last, center, align it, click, click, align, align, and align. There you go. Now we can cut again. All right, so there you have it. A little bit of troubleshooting. Again, you're going to run into this quite often when you're doing anything, either it's coding or 3D design. It's okay, just don't panic. Play around with it until you can figure out. It could be something that you did that unintentionally. So as you can see, I ran into a problem and I was trying to backtrack to see what it is that I did that was not working. And I fixed the problem. So it's all problem solving, guys. So give it a try. And I encourage you guys to come up with your own face mask shapes. See if you can come up with something creative like a star or a heart shape. That'd be really cool. And show me your design. Comment below to show me your design. All right? That's all for today on Tech Time with Mr. Nguyen. I'll catch you guys next time.